In today's video, I survived 100 days in Minecraft Hardcore. I've got a couple goals for this video, including transforming a jungle temple, killing the Ender Dragon, and obviously survive. And so it begins. Day 1. As soon as I spawn, two things catch my eye. A jungle temple and a shipwreck. So, like any wise man, before getting tools or food, I immediately went to investigate to see what goodies I could obtain. And the shipwreck had some decent loot, but not enough to settle down, so I ventured up back to the hill where I found a nice enclave near the temple to settle down. I gathered some wood and fenced in some local animals with the tools from the iron I just obtained. I then crafted a hoe and created a farming area for some local produce. I finished the day by carefully crawling through the jungle temple and through blood, sweat and tears. It got to the chest and oh my gosh, was it worth it. Diamonds! On day 2, it was time to slowly assert our dominance by expanding our territory by clearing out some trees and bushes up to the temple. I think an epic transformation could be in place. This took up over half the day, so I finished by digging down to a local cave. Well, we found something, alright. So we spent the rest of the day mining a couple of resources like iron, coal, and even a few more diamonds. And as we resurfaced, it was night time, so straight on to day 3. Today was a steady one, as before I start building, I'd like to expand my palette. So to do this, I ventured a few hundred blocks before finding a spruce and dark oak biome next to each other, in which I mined a few trees and got some saplings to bring home with me, before setting off into the horizon on my boat. And as it turned night, I found a little desert village I could take hospice in. As it turned to the 4th day, I looted the place and borrowed some souvenirs. I began my journey back home, however, once I got close, I came into a bit of a problem. The hill. I wasted the whole afternoon attempting to get my souvenir up the hill and home. However, nothing worked, so as it turned dark, I realized I had to get to safety and sleep. I'll rescue him. Eventually. I woke up today and I couldn't stop thinking about my friend during the night. So today, the initial plan was to craft some rails, get my friend another friend, and bring them home. And I built a good enough way up this torrential cliff before beginning on the pilgrimage back to the homeland to get another friend. I then spent the rest of the day fighting to get them up the cliff and sent them back on boats into their new forever home. I finished what little day I had left harvesting my crops and planting some more. Upon day 6, it was time to finally make use of our new friends. By converting them into fletchers, I could trade sticks from all the jungle wood I had to obtain my very first emeralds. I also made one into a farmer in hopes of eventually being able to trade my melons for an additional income method. Looking at my resources, I also wanted to obtain some more of the exotic materials, including spruce and dark oak for my very first build. Problem was, where was I going to put it? So this led me to start mining the hill so that I could make some more space. As you can see, I spent most of day 7 and 8 continuing to mine the hill for more space for our upcoming building. Once this was finally done, I spent the rest of my evening continuing to trade and buy within the villagers, and I finally leveled up my farmer. And he buys melons, what a relief. This meant we now had 2 income sources for emeralds. Day 9 consisted of continuing with the villagers mainly. I began by expanding my melon farm and creating a larger wheat farm for more output, meaning I'd be able to eventually sell all these to the farmers for more emeralds and buy things like tools and armor. I then prepped all of my resources for day 10 and put them in a chest to maximize time. And like usual, with the remaining time in the day, I chopped down more trees and traded some more. Now it was really time to graft. I quickly planted loads more bamboo so I could trade it after, but now the main focus was to build our very first house. This would be used as a resting place and a little storage area for future expeditions. Wow, this is looking awesome. I think a final few details and this will be perfect. I built a feature above the door to improve the tribal effect, a few brown stained glass panes to increase the curve, and I think we're done. As it turns night, I think I'll quickly check on my pals, and oh my, have they been busy. 3 babies. On day 12, I began to just collect my melons for trade again, but then I got jumped by a skeleton. Thankfully, on the verge of ending the video already, the iron golem swooped in and saved me, like a knight in shining armor. After a bit more trading, I decided to quickly do the interior for my build. Much better. A bit more trading, and that was day 12. And because we've not done enough trading, let's do some more. We kept on trading until we got our very first set of enchanted diamond tools. I thought I'd give them a quick try and chop some more trees down But by then, it was night time, so let's just go to sleep and move to day 14. Now, day 14 was a busy one. The very first thing I did was head back to my trading area to keep on getting emeralds until I had a full set of diamond armor. Now that was out of the way, the plan was to go down to the cave, get some more ores, and eventually find some obsidian. And we did exactly that. Iron, gold, redstone, you name it, we found it. As I was wandering along the cave, I stumbled across a skeleton spawner. This is great news because these caves were right under my base, meaning, like my Let's Play series, I could create a nice XP farm, meaning I could improve my armor further. Definitely something to come back to in the future. I kept on exploring until I hit the deep slate layers, and wow, a massive cavern. Definitely something good in here. As I explored, I caught my eye on some diamonds. However, they were being guarded by quite a few pests. And like the moron I am, I forgot my sword. So with a lava bucket, an axe, and a dream, I ran through doing what I can until I got to the diamonds and I dipped ASAP. I took a few hits, but nothing pumpkin pie won't heal. I then found some more diamonds, some more, and some more. Trailing further down the cave, I stumbled across this lava pool for my obsidian, but I forgot my water. Right, let's try that again. I've got my water. Let's get this obsidian. Right, I've got the obsidian, so let's get out of it. By the time I got out, it was nighttime and actually the end of day 15. But overall, a good use of 2 days as we've got lots more resources and many new opportunities now. We jumped straight into trading on day 16, leveling up our villagers with our melons and bamboo sticks to unlock some new trades, like this diamond pickaxe, which will definitely come in use. I then quickly grabbed some materials from my XP farm before heading down to the noted coordinates and began to build the farm.
This is the song for you.
Came to the realization though, I need soul sand, which I don't have. So I came back to the surface and slept. On day 17, we needed to solve this issue of soul sand. So I grabbed my obsidian, I made a super temporary portal, and I bobbed in to say hello. However, the spawn was rubbish with no soul sand in sight. So I ran and exited the crimson before spotting some by the lava. I carefully dropped down and grabbed a few before rushing straight back out of the nether because I don't want to end this video already. I then finished the skeleton spawner. And to test it, I removed all the torches, ran, and it worked. I still don't have a sword though, which isn't very useful. So I built some elevators up and down before dumping all of my inventory in the chests to call today to an end. I'd like to say day 18 was pretty productive. It was all centered around trade. Firstly got a librarian, and I kept on re-rolling until this old silk touch, which I bought no problem. I then put this on my axe so that I can more efficiently farm the melons, which means more emeralds. I then cleared the space around the elevators for the XP farm, because I'd like to do another build soon. I then spent the rest of the day expanding my farms, mainly the melons, and planted lots more saplings. A nice and steady day hopefully today. We began by removing that temporary nether portal from a few days ago, in hopes of building a nice permanent one in the future. I simply spent the rest of today just digging, and I had another close call tonight. I accidentally hit the iron golem, and let's just say that was almost fatal. I had my heart set on building today, so I did exactly that. I quickly stocked up on some more wood resources, and then we dove straight into building. Tell you what, I'm really liking this. It blends perfectly with the environment and our other structure. Now, I've got some materials here already, including some workstations and beds from the villager area, because I'd like to move some of them. So I built a couple of bunk beds, then making sure I get the workstations in, and a little place for some decoration. I think tomorrow we might spend some time moving some of the villagers with our rails. I spent all of day 21 attempting to move these 3 very stubborn villagers, the weaponsmith, the toolsmith, and the armorer, into their brand new home, which we built yesterday. And let's just say this was a pain in the backside. We finally got there in the end though, and as it turned night, they realized the beds weren't so bad. So we quickly added a little walkway to connect the 2 buildings, and this completed the very second house in our new village. On day 22, I really wanted to focus on developing my enchanting and experience capabilities. So to do this, I began by clearing all of the bamboo because I have minimal need for it anymore and it just gets in the way. I'd be able to recycle this space for something better and actually needed. So what I did with all the bamboo, you guessed it, was trade it away. I then spent some time tidying up the area, removing some floating trees and bushes, and I even curved off the hill slightly just so it blends in better. I finished the day by breeding some cows so that I could borrow some leather before making a nice sugarcane farm ready for paper, and that brought day 22 to a close. So day 23, we jumped straight into building. Right, I think we're getting there. Now, like last time, I'd just like to add a few details. So I'll build some tribal levers, some fences and gates, and I think that's good. Now, this has taken a bit longer than I expected, as we're now on day 24. But oh well. I had a bit of time left today, so I also did the interiors, connecting the elevators to the buildings. I added a little hedge at the back, pairing this with a crafting table and some anvils, which did cost me most of my iron. A lantern works nicely to light up the room, and to finalize the interior, I added some barrels, storage style. Day 25, a quarter of the way there. Today, I spent the whole day trading until I finally got mending. This will definitely come in handy when it comes to maxing my armor out, and I could just do with an unbreaking book. So, like an absolute boss, I went and got just that. This, however, took the whole day up. So, it's time to go to sleep and focus on tomorrow. On day 26, I thought I'd take a bit of a break from trading, as it was getting pretty boring. So, instead, I began to analyze what I need for future building. I was looking around the back of the huts and realized eventually we definitely need to terraform. So I thought, why not stay with a warm vibe and get some terracotta? So, that's exactly what I did. As I got home, I noticed a stray baby which I quickly pushed into the hut before extending my waterway from one house to the XP farm, enabling further movement across the village. I then needed to light it all up so I didn't endanger myself or the villagers. And speaking of endangered villagers, I noticed another stray one wandering the abyss, which I also saved and shoved into a hole. But 2 stray villagers? There has to be a hole somewhere. On day 27, I needed to wait for the baby villagers to grow, so I spent the whole day chopping down trees and making our space go from this to this. Much better. This meant we'd be able to expand our village over to this side with the upcoming librarian build. I then spent the remaining time I had of day 27 chopping down even more trees to make some space for terraforming later on. Now, we actually lost the footage for day 28. However, we were still quite productive. We managed to clear some space for the library and ended up building a base before running out of spruce, leading us to planting some more. And I also got myself another farmer, which I ended up maxing out. I simply spent the rest of the day bone mealing spruce and chopping it down because right now, spruce is one of the most valuable materials I could possibly get my hands on. I began on day 29 by chopping down the trees I planted yesterday in hopes of obtaining enough material to last me for the next couple buildings. With this spruce, I then began the construction of the librarian's hall. As you can see, it's a bit of a mixture of our house design and the XP farm design, maintaining the architecture style of the jungle. Now, it's definitely got potential, and I definitely think a flag up the top there could be cool. I then tidied up the inside of the building, removing any dirt I placed when I needed the structure, leaving me with a large open space with plenty of opportunity to work with. I then spent the rest of the day moving villages, aiming for approximately 8 so that I could have a variety of trades, ideally things like efficiency and protection. So I moved the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and you get the point, up until I had 8 villagers ready and raring to work their lives away. And by the time I moved all 8 into the room, day 31 was over. Yesterday, I moved all of my villagers into the new building, so it was time to organize them all. I made little pens for them all, and then I blocked them in. Forever. One by one until all 8 were in a cell-like structure. I can assure you though, they aren't cells. This meant that I could easily locate whatever trade I need, and because I'm an idiot, I also added signs to make it even easier. I then finished this day by making the hall look nice with some pots and chests for decorations, and then a ladder up to the next floor. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get this interior finished and start cycling some trades. On day 33, I immediately awoke up to one of my villagers zombified and burning to death. What a lovely sight. You could say he wasn't a morning person. I immediately head upstairs and began to continue working on the interior, but because there's not enough space, I'm just going to make it purely aesthetic with some bookshelves, some bushes, and a ladder to another floor. And now on this floor, I've made a bed and a gate because I'm thinking we could turn this into a bit of a hold, or let's just say reproduction. I quickly moved Adam and Eve into the room, and boom, we finished. Tomorrow, we're going to get some trades sorted. Lots of cycling today, and no, not on a bicycle. I broke so many leptons and heard so many that I'm just fed up of trading. But I managed to get a variety of great trades including Thorns 3, Efficiency 5, Respiration 3, Featherfalling 4, and so much more. I think tomorrow we can finally start utilising these trades and our XP farm to start maxing out some armour and tools. Today, the very first tool was maxed out, and that was the axe. But now it was time to work on some more of the difficult ones, starting with the shovel and pickaxes. And to ease us with this quest, we made an enchanting table and set up by the XP farm. So we spent most of the day down here, as the XP farm isn't really the fastest. But by the time I finished my very first tool, the fortune pickaxe, it was already time to sleep. Another day which flew by today. We spent the whole day farming, transforming our melon farm from this to this. These two large lanes mean I can produce so many more melons in the space provided and also mine them a lot quicker and easier, which in return means more and quicker emeralds. I think whilst waiting for these to grow, I might make a farmer's hut, but that's a tomorrow job. On day 37, I instantly got into building. Now, it's the exact same as the furnace house. It's just a little villager hut, which we can fill with farmers who will buy our melons. And I'm just going to replicate the interior, but with farmer workstations. I'll include our bunk beds, our workstations, and our trusty crafting table. I'm also going to add some more stairs around the walkways to increase accessibility. And then I also added the standout block outside of each house, because as the village expands, I'm starting to get lost. As the melons are still growing, tomorrow we're going to work on moving our farming villagers into their house and maybe adding some more walkways. On day 38, we spent some more value time with our villagers. So I started by harvesting as many melons as possible so that we could buy more enchanted books. I then moved them all into the house I built yesterday, expanding our village, and connected the librarians to the farmers via a walkway, allowing more mobility. I then spent the rest of the day trading again, buying some more books and maxing out El Scoopacabra. Now, these next few days were so monotonous and boring, it's not even worth showing. 5 words on repeat: farming, selling, buying, killing, and enchanting. This took over 4 days, as we're now on the evening of day 43, but on the brighter side, we've got a full set of enchanted diamond tools and armor, setting us up nicely for the rest of the 100 days. We started day 44 by gathering some more spruce wood and also dark oak, followed by clearing some area around the jungle temple for our final villager house. We then spent some time removing some of the melons, because now that we had all the enchantments we needed, we didn't actually need as many. So I'm hoping to spend some time terraforming in and around the village so it blends more to the surrounding area. But by the time I cleared all this space and removed some melons, it was nighttime, so hopefully tomorrow we can finish this final structure and move the remaining villagers into it. So, as mentioned yesterday, we decided that today it was time we build the final house and move the very final villagers, which was again a lot more painful than I thought. By night though, I got them into the house through blood, sweat and tears. Now that the village itself is done with all the structures and everyone's moved, I can finally focus on making this area look much nicer and focus on the bigger picture, like the Ender Dragon. Day 46 was the first day of the regeneration project. So we removed all the temporary rails that led from the villager breeding area to the final house before filling in the hole in which all the villagers once lived. We then grabbed all of our dirt and began terraforming. Now this will take a while and we used quite a lot of dirt, but I think we're starting to get somewhere. We then spent the day getting even more dirt in a faraway biome because, let's be real, this view won't affect us. That was pretty successful. We've got a full inventory, and as the night turned in dark, it was time we head back. So following on from yesterday, we jumped straight into terraforming using all the dirt we obtained. There we go. It's now the afternoon of day 49, and it took a bit longer than we thought, but oh my, was it worth it. The village looks a lot more integrated now in the jungle, and with the rest of the day, I ended up just planting some saplings and placing some more of the bushes back to regenerate the forest. As we can see, we now need to work on this cliff, and I think a waterfall could be really cool. We could even hide our new nether portal behind it. We are officially halfway through 100 days. So with the last 2 bits of terraforming left to do, we decided to jump straight into the cave to get some resources. As we know, earlier on, I got some terracotta, so I stocked up on some granite, which complements terracotta great. I then stumbled across a lush cave, so I grabbed plenty of moss, and as more and more mobs began to come, for my safety, I decided to head out. And as I exited, the night was almost upon us, but I saw a parrot, so I decided to bring him home. Question is, what should I call it? Let me know down in the comments below. As seen by the time lapse, it was time to put the terracotta, the granite, and the moss to use by building some cliffs and a waterfall. We woke up on day 22 and tidied the side of the terrain up and also coloured it. We even added some water. I quickly repaired my shovel. We then just need to do a smaller version of this on the other side of the village to finish our terrain. So let's get that done. There we go. So that is now all of the terrain done. I know we blitzed through that, but I wanted to get that done because from tomorrow, we start to focus on the bigger picture. Now, I'm absolutely loving this place. Now, there's just one more thing I want to do before we can actually start to focus on the bigger picture, like I mentioned. So obviously on my to-do list, we've got things like scenery, paths, floor decoration, maybe some rocks, but that's a later on job because right now I'm thinking behind this waterfall, our nether portal, like a hidden cave. So I quickly made a stepping stone path and then I thought we'd best clear some space. Much better. I've got something to work with now. So if I place my portal here, then we know how much space we've got to work with. So let's get this terraformed. Get the basic shape, add some details, color it, and awesome. Proper vibe now. This adds a real mysterious vibe to it. I think tomorrow, it might be time we venture into the nether and start preparing for this ender dragon. On day 54, it was time to put this nether portal to use. Here we go. We spawned straight into the crimson biome and I decided we should gather a few of these materials because, well, why not? I got some crimson logs, some roots, and some fungus. But this was not what we were here for though. We kept on moving. Hundreds of blocks later, across countless biomes, even a soul sand one, which took way too long to cross, our goal was sought out. A nether fortress was in sight. So, like any wise man, I charged straight in there. Our goal was blaze rods and wither skeleton skulls, and, well, did we achieve that alright. I first focused on the blaze rods, killing many, obtaining plenty, a variety of recipes. Ow, that hurts. I then spent the next god knows how long killing wither skeletons, getting extremely unlucky and not getting one for ages. However, I all of a sudden had a stroke of luck and got 2 shortly after each other, with a 3rd coming soon after. With plenty of blaze rods and wither skulls, it was time to keep moving, and therefore we tried our very best to exit this place in one piece. I kept on moving as I wanted to find a warped forest, which I did, and like the crimson, I gathered some warped wood because it was nice blue colour. I also gathered some more of the fungus again before spending some time with the endermen. These endermen were painful because they kept on teleporting away from the fire, but I eventually managed to kill enough of them for a minimum of 12 ender pearls. And once I eventually got what I needed from the warped forest, so it was time to head out of the nether and attempt to find the portal. However, on the journey of a lifetime, I stumbled across a bastion, and I know what potential goodies this place has, but also the dangers. But I decided it was worth it. I carefully creeped around, I got to my first chest, and wow, was it rewarding. I know there's another room, so let's just dig here. Oh, I killed a few more brutes and opened another chest, but I wanted to venture to the main room. So I carefully dropped and had a nice standoff with, you guessed it, another brute. Navigating my way through to the treasure room, I had my eyes on the prize, but I needed to drop down to the bottom, in which I probably didn't do in the best way, but we got there in the end. Fending off these piglins with my life and a hefty bit of knockback, I carefully attempted to loot the chest, in which had some amazing loot, a netherite ingot and more ancient debris. The problem was I was too busy getting excited over the netherite that I was completely oblivious to the magma cubes, in which pushed me into the lava. Not quite sure why I was building out of wood, but it is what it is. I quickly looted the other chest and then determined it was definitely time to get out of here before the video gets cut short. So with that, I escaped the bastion and headed back to the portal, in which by the time I got out, it was evening, and actually day 59. So I put all my loot in the chest ready for tomorrow before heading to bed. It was time to retire from exploring and fighting, so I spent some time back working on the base. I wanted to clear the rest of my melons so that I had a fresh canvas to decorate my village with. So, like my Let's Play world, I decided to move the farm underground. I started by building a little entrance hidden in the cliff before heading down and digging a nice new area. With this space, I quickly tidied it up, changing everything to stone because why not? And then it was time to plant out some melons. So on this side, we had 2 rows of 32, meaning we'd have a stack. So why not flip it so we can have 2 stacks? There we go. A few final bits like some seed covers and some torches, and we are done. Let's just make sure this farm is appropriately labelled. And again, nighttime, another multi-day project, but at least we finally have a nice blank space to start decorating this village. I started today by utilising our netherite and all of our diamonds to upgrade the silk pickaxe and the sword. This meant that damage will increase and we can also mine faster, which is massive. With these brand new tools, I decided it was time to put them to the test, and looking at the materials we already had, I decided why not head to the mangrove to obtain some luxurious swap materials. So I gathered some mangrove wood, some lily pads, a bit of seagrass, and the main material, mud. Looking good. I had a bit of time left today, so on my way back, I decided let's grab some gravel as well, in which I can maybe use to make some coarse dirt or just design a path. By this point though, I got home and it was almost night time. This led me perfectly on to tomorrow to continue our resource gathering. I headed straight into day 63 in an effort to continue my resource gathering, so I went straight down into the cave, back to the lush cave we found earlier in the video, because this time I wanted some more moss, clay, and even some azalea. I can use all of these materials to terraform and decorate our village even more. I finished up mining and I headed back to the surface before ending up in the middle of nowhere, so I decided to deface this area a little bit. In other words, get some dirt. But before it turned night, I relocated back home and planted some azalea so that I could get the leaves for a bit of a different colour within our village. Today, it was time to finally put our materials to use and decorate this place. So, I built some paths before grabbing my rock materials and you guessed it, building some rocks. Now this took us to day 65, where we quickly obtained some grass and ferns to add a bit of nature to our base whilst partnering with some jungle leaves. I then played around with some potential bamboo, skinny, tree, plant thingies before coming to a design I was happy with and built them everywhere. We then had a little to-do list left for our base. So on day 66, we created some lanterns to dot around the village, lighting the place up and ensuring safety. I also added some more decoration, including a pond, a clay pit, a campfire, and a melon farm. This made the place so much more lively, and we finished by adding just a little bit of clutter, like some crafting stations, kegs, pots, and so much more. But with that, both day 66 and the base decoration was done. Today was the day we defeat the Wither. Or the Wither defeats us. I picked up the skulls and the soul sand before heading out. By the way, how good does this place look? The mesa looks like a great place to fight the Wither, so let's head there. We eventually got there, and it was almost time. Alright, let's do this. I'm going to get some distance whilst I can, and as soon as he's prepared himself, I'm going to shoot him. Alright, he's here, let's do this, come on. And he's already right above me. Wait, I need to put my shield on. Oh, there we go, there we go. If I ender pearl over here, maybe I can get a bit of distance. Yes. Oh, he does some damage though, doesn't he? Oh my days. Come on, Sally the sniper. Doing loads of damage right now. Oh, but so is he. Oh my days. That was not meant to happen. What are the chances of falling down a cave? Uh-oh. If this Wither comes any second now, I could be doomed. Oh, this is not good. Let's try that again. Oh, he's in a special mode now. Oh, no. That can't be good. Oh, he's right behind me. Right, let's just quickly heal. Let's just quickly heal whilst we can. He's healed. What? He does not stand a chance. Oh, neither do I, actually, though. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes! Come on. We did it. The Nether start. But I've got to admit, that really hurts. Right, let's head back to the base and make a beacon. Although it was a close call, I'm glad we did it. I headed back and I made a beacon. I'm not quite sure why, as we don't even have enough blocks to power it. But I did what I could anyway. I had a bit of time left today, so I wanted to start preparing for the next boss fight, the Ender Dragon. So I chopped some melons and got a few more golden carrots. But with that, day 67 was over. It was time to set off on our journey. I grabbed some last minute things to help me, crafted our ender eyes, and away we go. Breaking on its first go? Really? I guess this way we go. We must be getting close now. We must be above it. Like any brave man, I dug straight down until I found a cave, and after stumbling across some diamonds, I ended up in the library. I borrowed some resources and navigated my way through the stronghold until I found the portal. I removed the silverfish, and away we go. It's almost time. Right, it's day 70. Let's do this Ender Dragon. Oh, all right, here we go. Let's do this. This is definitely going to be a test of how good my aim is. Oh, first try. Let's go. Whose idea was it to put Enderman in the end? Yes. Right, let's get this one. First try. Nope. Oh, my days. I've dropped off. There we go. Oi. Oh, that hurts, actually. I've got to admit, this seems a lot less stressful than the Wither. Can I make this shot? Or is he going to make me build up and get it? Come on, when there's a will, there's a way. Oh, let's go. I wonder if I can do the same again, then. Am I the GOAT? Is there 3 left? 2, sorry, 2. 1. Come on. I really don't want to have to build up to this because, quite frankly, I can't be bothered. There's literally no point me attacking him just yet because he's just going to heal. Oi! I'm actually going to have to build up. I'm not sitting here all day. New idea. I'm about to get so techie with it. Right, ender pearl on there. Okay. I don't even think there's one there or there. Wait, what? I mean, okay. And now I have the next problem, though. MLG water bucket incoming. Oh, that's what he does! Now let's put this absolute moron to bed. Come a little closer. I don't know what the strike's here. Let's try going from behind.
What did he say?
Right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Come on. Oh, he does not even stand a chance. Oh, he's actually buggered. What, one more hit? Nope. Nope. All right. Come on, Shirley. Oh, what a shot. Let's go. We did it. Let's grab this XP. And the egg. There we go. The dragon egg. That XP's nicely repaired all our tools. And that is our next mission, because I want some shulker boxes. So let's get this next adventure underway and head through the portal. Shame it's a mile away. We bridged over and teleported through, and well, what a wonky spawn. I obtained some more ender pearls and began our long journey. Countless islands, big gaps, big bridges, big dreams. The days of walking, we saw something. An end city. I got a bit closer, and oh my days, it was bloody rubbish. I picked up a few shulker shells, but decided to keep moving. Eventually, we spotted something in the distance. An end ship. We ventured straight over and got right to it. Shulker shells, chests, levitation, and even an elytra. No fireworks, but I mean, it still does the job. So I borrowed an ender chest, roleplayed the Matrix, and I finished my shopping trip with some brand new fashion. On day 75, I used the elytra to try and make some very good travel progress. And after a while of wandering, we spotted the portal. Thank God. We went through both the portals, and finally, we're home. A great adventure and very resourceful. However, I did miss the jungle. By now, though, it was night, so I placed all of my loots in the chest and called it a night. We're now into the final quarter, day 76. I put some of those goodies to use from yesterday and decorated my armor with some trims. It's a unique design, but I look dapper. I crafted some shulker boxes, and looking at my loot, we definitely need somewhere to display our dragon egg, head, and elytra, so with no time to waste, I immediately got to removing the jungle temple. Alright, we're done. This took the whole day, but we managed to get quite a few blocks at least, and a brand new area we can build tomorrow. Now that we finally had everything sorted, and blimey, that took a while, we were back to square one. So we decided to sort our elytra out first by buying a couple of enchanted books and naming it, so that we could explore further afield quicker. I had this in mind because I wanted to gather some pale wood for the jungle transformation, but I had no idea where the biome was, so I used what materials I had to craft some fireworks, and away we go.
One eternity later.
Okay, I've finally found one. I am extremely cautious of time, so I'm going to be quick. Gathered some pale wood, some pale moss, and some unique flowers, or realizing it was probably time to get home, A, because I was scared, and B, because the time was running short. Throughout my journey, as it turned night, I came across a pillager outpost, which gave me a bit of an idea. An omen equals raid, raid equals hero of the village equals discounts, and I decided it was worth it. So I battled through a couple of soldiers until I got to the captain and obtained what I wanted, the potion. Maybe we'll use this tomorrow. As it was night though, I needed somewhere to sleep, and thankfully there was a local village, in which I borrowed someone's bed. Well, we woke up and decided we'd best head straight back to the base and consume this interesting drink.
Alright, here goes nothing. I think all of our villages are safe, but we're going to find out. Sounds like they're coming from this way. Probably doesn't help that we're in a big dense jungle. Where are you?
A few moments later.
Oh, I found them. Oh, he doesn't look so friendly. Stay back, stay back, stay back. Jeezy peeps, man, you guys do some damage, don't you? Question is, where's the rest of you? Let me check the rest of this forest, surely. Oh, just heard one. There you are. Must protect my village. If there's one thing I've learned, it's never to do a raid in the jungle again. Again, absolutely no idea where they are. No way they're all the way up there. Why are they all so far away? This is rubbish. And it's going dark already. I'll just quickly head back and sleep, and then we'll worry about this last raider. Whoa! Hold on, he's getting a bit too close for comfort, isn't he? Not anymore, he's not. Oh, there's some emerging from the trees. That did not sound good. Is that a Ravager? What are you doing up there? Oh, absolute light work. Die, you fat. Right, where are these last ones? What are these so panicked about? What's going on? Are they sweating? We'll worry about those later, because I've just heard another horn coming from up here. Why has he got a potion on? Is that not cheating? There's one of those morons. Shut up. Oh, there's two. No, there's not a lad. Oh, I found them all. Oh, there's a Vindicator. Why is he so fast? Oh, my days. Totem. Oh, totem. Okay, let's get that on very quickly. We're going to need it. Oh, my days. Oh, my days. Oh, my days. Run. Okay, I did not expect to get that weak. Why is there so many of them all of a sudden? Oh my days, this is starting to get a bit difficult. Right, this must be the final round, surely. Okay, that was this way, that was this way. Was it? Oh, there's a Vindicator down there, and there's a few up there. We're definitely in the right direction here. My aim has dropped off. Oh my days. Right, that's it. I'm using the sword instead. Die! Let's get this raid wrapped up. This is taking a lot longer than I hoped. There they all are. There's a lot of them. And my aim never helps. Oh, we got another totem, though, which we might need in a minute. Quickly heal. Whoa, why is he red? Or should I say dead? Way! Hello, doggy. Right, let's quickly sleep because I can't see a thing. Okay, we might not be sleeping just yet. Mate, I'm being bullied by these little kids. What is going on? I just shot him. There we go. Right, day 80. I really want to be getting this raid wrapped up. 2 raiders left, and I think it's these 2. Let's go! Hero of the village. Let's go. Let's just make sure all of our villagers are alright.
As the raid took that long, we needed to accelerate things. We lost a few more villagers than I initially thought, but we don't have time to worry about that right now. So we finished what little day we had left, tidying some chests and putting up some new flags so that we can focus on the main and final project, the jungle temple transformation. Now that that's over with, it's time we can finally build this temple. We had a few resources, however we still needed the main ones like stone, andesite, deep slate, stone brick, mossy cobble, and mossy stone brick. So we crafted a few initial blocks and recycled a few materials from the old temple, plating them all together, but we still needed many more. So without further ado, I jumped straight into material gathering. Whilst emerging from the cave on what is now day 83, stumbled across a few beehives in which planted a seed in my mind. Handles. So we spent a while gathering some of the honey so that we could make plenty. We also crafted the remainder of our resources like mossy bricks and chiseled stone. And I think that's everything. It was, however, night time, so placed all our shulker boxes down, ready to get going tomorrow. The first thing we needed to do today was prep the area, so we began by first terraforming over this obnoxious hole from earlier, before clearing some space by removing plenty of trees and bushes. And with that, we had a nice empty canvas ready for the new temple. We started by creating a little prototype of a window/wall design, taking inspiration from Angkor Wat in Cambodia, and a massive thank you to my friend Lego, helping me design and implement this temple. I'll leave his details down below, so make sure to go and give him a follow. Whilst the wall design was debated, planned where I wanted the entrances and the main hall to go, and the rest is history. Alright, so it's day 89 and this is looking amazing. We've quickly polished up some of the inside. However, as you can see, I've got a few different resources that I've got from my very limited supplies in which I want to put to use in here. So I crafted some polished andesite stairs and I got straight to work. I'm thinking underneath each of these pillars, I want to have chiseled stone. And then for a floor, I'll just do a mixture of stone brick and mossy stone brick. Something nice and simple. And then with these gaps, I want to kind of run some water along. I guess that just as a cool like little temple effect. So I'm going to use some polished stairs. And I'm going to wrap them around each of these bits of flooring. And then we just need to take our water and pretty much make a nice little water source. Apart from that's not working. Oh my days, this is going to take forever. Just the final few stairs now. And there we go. So I can block that up and remove that. And then, because I've got all my candles, I'm just going to place varied amounts just to light this place up and make it look a bit sacred. If I take my flint and steel and just light each and every one of these up. And I'll tell you what, that really adds to the ambience, which is nice. So the final thing I want to do is something here. It's like a little statue, I guess. So first of all, I'm just going to make a few black candles to go kind of like here. I think I'm just going to do a nice little sacred statue. This is where you go, Jack. A statue of what? Well, you'll have to find out. That should be everything I need. So we've got a little base there. And I've actually just got some glowstone to put there for a bit of backlighting. And then I'll use this wall kind of like that, I guess. We need to make some stairs. There we go, 4 bamboo stairs. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. Put some grindstones like this to hold it. You see where I'm going with this? Let's get this loom, and this is where I try and cook up a masterpiece. Here we go. We built a YouTube play button. Now, I don't have one in real life, so this will have to do. But it's that time. If you want to see me have one of these in real life, pause the video and go and subscribe. And once you've subscribed, comment temple down below. But that's it. We finished the jungle temple transformation. Obviously, we've got a lot of blank space around here and around the village, which I think with the final few days, we're just going to spend some time cleaning it up. And I think some custom jungle trees surrounding this, blending in with the forest would look great. But for now, let's sleep. With it now being day 90 and a seed planted in our mind of custom trees, the ticking time clock started to get to us, so we decided to get straight to work. Like I mentioned, there was all this mess and clutter which I just wanted to get out of the way for the custom trees. So I cleared my inventory and began a long, scrutinous cleanup process. I got my axe and plenty of shears out, and well, I didn't stop for about 2 days straight, continuously chopping and clearing until I couldn't anymore. And by the time I finished, my shears were broke, my tools were weak, so I spent some time off camera by the XP farm, and it's now the evening of what's actually day 91. But as you can see, we've got plenty of space to build some custom trees and design this jungle just a bit further to our liking. I think the plan is then tomorrow we'll create a few variants and get placing them everywhere. But for now, let's sleep. As you can see from yesterday, we've got loads of materials ready to put to good use. Pairing these with some other blocks, like spruce stairs and stuff like that, I think we should be able to make a pretty cool custom tree design. So, let's do it. Right, so I think with this tree design, we're going to start off with a nice little green base because it looks a bit like it's kind of growing. Then I'll grab some logs and we'll do this, I think, 5 tall. Let's have a look. What's that? Yeah, that's a good start. And I've forgot my scaffolding. Right, let's try that again. We've got a base. Then we need to craft a few stairs, slabs, and things like that. Some slabs, some stairs, and some trapdoors. And we've got our walls. So let's head back up there. I think I'll do 3 mud walls to kind of show the tree getting slightly smaller at the top. And then here, I'm just going to do like a branch. And we'll also just make some fence gates whilst we're at it. Right, there we go. We've got something nice like this going on now. So let's just grab some leaves for the top. And we'll use the jungle leaves because we've got absolutely loads of them. And in no particular order, I'm just going to bring these across. And I think we're just going to place them practically everywhere until we've got a little something we want. Okay, I think something like this is looking pretty cool. I can knock them down. Now we just need to add a few details around the base. So I'll grab some of these vines just to kind of blend this in a bit. And then we're just going to add a few different little bits and bats. So we'll add like a little wall trunk here and a little something like that. And I think we're pretty much done with this tree. Could just do with a little bird's eye view. Okay, that is awesome. I love that. Yeah, that is perfect. So now, and we're just going to spend the next who knows how long placing trees everywhere around here, blending this whole place in. So I'll catch you when I've done that. And I mean everywhere. I think this makes the place so much better and really adds to the jungle vibe. But we are getting worryingly close to the big day 100 though. So let's sleep and now focus on the remaining 4 days. On day 96, we wanted to add a little bit of colour to this surrounding jungle and clean the place up a little bit. So I devised 2 plans. A, custom enlarged bamboo plants, and B, replanted jungle trees. This would finalise the area and probably also our lifespan. But nonetheless, we ventured off out into the distance to gather some resources for the bamboo shoots. And you can probably guess what we got. Bamboo, bamboo, and more bamboo. As we approached back home, it was pushing night time, so we headed back to bed with our pockets full of bamboo and a plan for tomorrow. Now we had all the resources for the final piece of the puzzle, so let's get to work. We designed a few different pieces, being cautious to not overplace them, but I think it's looking pretty good. Looks like it's mid-afternoon, so we spent the rest of the day doing some needed errands, like repairing the tools, gathering some bones for our next job, and also clearing out our overly polluted inventory. With the bone meal, saplings, leaves, and vines, it was time to finally put this area to sleep. Time lapse. And oh my days, it's the final day. We've made it all this way. Now these trees took quite a while to plant, but they definitely made this jungle feel nice and dense, which is perfect and just what we wanted. And I think it's only right that on day 100, we do a bit of a world tour. So the very first building we had was our lovely starter house here, with our little secret wheat farm underneath, in which because we have to crouch takes forever to mine, but we can come up these steps. We've got a bit of decoration on either side, our ender chest, crafting table, a bit of unorganized storage with some barrels on either side, and upstairs to our bedroom. It's quite sad really, that was our last sleep in the bed. Coming out of our starter house, we can walk down across the jungle pedestals into our first villager building, which houses all the toolsmiths, the weaponsmiths, and the armorer. And I do believe we're missing one from the raid, but oh well. And I just do love this just kind of jungle feel with the stilted houses. I just think it makes it look so much better. Coming across, we've got a few melon farms, but these are mainly just for display, so we don't have to worry about them. And coming up to our XP tower, we've got a lovely little interior which did have 2 anvils, but obviously one's broke, and we can drop down this big hole to our XP farm, which is definitely not the fastest, but it's definitely done its job. A little enchanting setup, and back up we go. We've got a little beetroot farm under there, and then across to another similar house. However, this had, I guess, all our farmers. Now we only seem to have 1 survivor. We can walk directly through the middle of the village on the ground floor, where we've got a few ponds, a little campsite, where we can come back up the stairs to another little house, which actually has no villagers left. I'm going to assume the raid took its toll on this one as well. And then one of our main buildings within the village is the big librarian's house, which, you guessed it, houses most of our librarians. One thing I love about this build is its interior. So as we can see, we've got a nice big open plan library up here, and up here too. You know what, it doesn't matter. Behind the library, we've got a secret little melon farm stashed away. Although this made us all the money, it's not the most appealing thing, but it definitely did the job. And then if we follow the path up, we've got a little clay pit for a bit of decoration, and the big boy itself, the jungle temple transformation. Now this definitely took a lot longer than I expected, but gosh did it come out well. And again, a big credit to my friend Lego. So as we come up, we've got a little shrine to a YouTube play button, so make sure to subscribe. And just a few little ruins on either side. Nothing too fancy, but it just gives a nice little temple vibe. And I'm extremely pleased with how this has all turned out. And we can get a nice little panoramic view of our village. And this is gorgeous. And this is right on time as the sun sets behind the mesa. This has definitely been a great journey, and I've enjoyed every single day. Well, almost every single day. But I guess now it's time we hang up our boots. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this 100 days video. I hope you've all enjoyed this as much as I have. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.